You have government being exposed for what it is. This web of 55,000 different NGOs that were supporting all these liberal causes that were all completely intertwined. Finding out that this is like this complicated propaganda network. They're spending a lot of money and they're mobilizing other NGOs. They're using their access to these mailing lists, different things. They're putting these things together.
Average liberal person, do you think that they're going to wake up and come around? Or do you think they're going to be in like agony for 4 years?
What if it works? Like, what if the world gets safer, the country gets safer, the economy improves, and they don't attack civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, all these things that everybody's worried about. And then at the end of it, you realize like, hey, maybe I was wrong.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the big corporations that own the media are trying to get me to feel a certain way. Oh my gosh! Maybe the videos that I watch on TikTok and Instagram might be wrong.
Are they capable of that kind of self-reflection?
You're saying they as if it's like one kind of person.
No, what's your process?
Think of like, what do I really think about something and why do I think about it that way? Is it self-serving? Is it because I've said it in the past and I want to be right? What makes me believe what I believe? You have to do a deep dive and have arguments back and forth to figure out who's right. And all the logic and the and see people ignoring certain core facts. And if part of our huge deficit, we're spending billions of dollars every year on horse shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's important to be accurate, but this money shouldn't be spent this way. So just because this thing is maybe not true, you're pointing to this one thing that could be people are misrepresenting, but there's a much bigger problem you seem to want to just sweep under the rug.
They're wizards. That's the kind of people that you want digging into this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why Elon got them.
For anyone who's really concerned about Elon Musk and his cronies going in right now, just to uncover and look under the hood of what's actually going on with government spending, all I want to ask you is, what are you really afraid of? Nothing can be done except looking at the books, looking at what we're actually spending our hard-earned taxpayer dollars on. I don't know why you'd be so afraid of that. It should not be a partisan issue. This should be an American issue that we all should be super concerned with. And if you're listening to certain people who are really freaking out and screaming and crying about this, I would say, what else are they screaming and crying about? You might start to notice that there's a pattern here of people wanting to withhold information and cover things up. I don't care whether they're right or left about how this could be affecting the American people and the world at large, because we have USAID funds going into different countries supporting certain causes that actually might be malevolent. How are we getting to our final answers about things? When it comes to Jewish law, Jewish theology, if you look in the Gemara, it was, to me, olden day Facebook. You would have a Mishnah, a law. There were no emojis. There was no like button because it was all written out, handwritten out. You have all these comments around the Mishnah, and it's like you have status and then you have comments around it. Organized chaos. Like Joe Rogan is explaining here in this particular clip, you have rational logic, illogic, stories, different examples from history of how and why things work and don't work, become law and don't become law. The judicial system is actually based on these types of arguments and laws being written into history. In the modern times, we have this incredible canon of history from different lawmakers, different types of laws from all over the world that we get to look at and say, this worked well, this didn't work well, and how are we supposed to look at this, and what kind of examples should we be bringing? Really think about how you get your news, how you get what's going on in the world, the sources that you receive logical news from. If you can't come up with your own moral compass, your own moral clarity, your own ways of how you see the world, I would highly suggest going to some sort of religious education law that you want to adopt and live by that. If you're just looking at the government or the news as your moral clarity, you might be saying at some point, maybe I was wrong.
Get you to start thinking about your life before the entire universe self-destructs.